Hey, my people. Hey, hey, hey. How we doing, you guys? I think I need a little bit more light. I'm going to turn this light on. What it do, my people? This is I'm not saying that this is my first time going live on YouTube, but let me put this on here. This is not, I have my talk show Red Light Special live, and I'll be back on there doing doing some more Red Light Special live. But this particular live, I decided to go live because I was looking through my YouTube and I haven't really been as active as I should be on YouTube. And I was like, you know what? Let me go live because I haven't gone live. I was actually about to leave and I was like, you know what? Let me test this out. And so I literally wanted to I literally wanted to look, I'm testing out these things, okay? Cuz I have not been on here. You hear me? This is really my first time doing live on YouTube. And this is pretty cool. So I'm looking to see who is coming on the chat. But I'm going to talk about how I started as a professional dancer. As many as you guys know, the content that I do, I'm a choreographer and I'm a professional dancer. I have been in the industry for over 20 years now. And it has definitely been a ride being a professional dancer and being a choreographer. And one thing that I had to learn about the industry is that your talent is not what's going to make you make it in the industry. It's your talent plus your business sense, your skills, how you strategize, the people that you converse with, the people that those are the things to consider when you are starting in the industry. And so when I originally started in this industry, if I tell you guys how old I was, then you guys gonna know how old I don't tell my age, but I was really young when I started in the industry. And I was like so for it. I was like, yo, I'm good. I'm the best. I'm out here. I'm about to give y'all the business and this is what it is. And so that's what I did. And so when I started, I went for first I was walking in the mall and this guy stopped me in the mall and he said he wanted to be my manager. And I was like, okay, you could be my manager or whatever. But even before that, I had auditioned for an agency and I didn't get booked by them when I had auditioned for the agency. So I was like really like down about it. Like the first agency I had auditioned for, they didn't pick me. And I had auditioned for a few agencies and they didn't pick me. And I was just kind of like, okay, I know somebody gonna pick me. And I was literally like in the mall and this guy stops me and was like, you're really pretty. What do you do? And I was like, I'm a dancer, da da da. And he was like, okay, well, I don't work with dancers, but I work with models. And so he, signed me as his manager, as a model. And he started sending me on auditions. He showed me how to like get my stuff together. Like he showed me how to put a portfolio together. He took some pictures of me, and I was like, okay. The agency didn't get me, so now I have a manager, and I won't even say his name. I'm not gonna disclose his name. And so I worked with him for a minute, and then he I met his other models, and what I realized is like his models, they were all doing like booty pictures and stuff like that. And that was not my thing. I was like, I'm a dancer. That's what I do. And he had got me in this one audition to dance, and I don't know what happened with it, but around that time I ended up stop working with him because he told me, he was like, I'm really attracted to you, and I know you're not going to sleep with me, so either I get a picture of your butt or you sleep with me. If we can't do either or, then I can't be your manager. And I was like, I'm not doing either or. I'm not giving you a picture of my butt, and I'm not sleeping with you. You know what I mean? Trixie, stop. My cat is over here messing with me. So I chose not to sleep with him because I was like, I have integrity. Like, no. You know what I mean? And so around that time, I ended up auditioning. Well, I had auditioned for an agency before that, and they ended up like calling me. They ended up calling me, and I ended up getting an agent. And when I got the agent, I was going on different auditions, and I didn't even know how to dance in heels yet. Like, I was literally like wearing kitty heels with no strap in the back. And I had went to a Britney Spears audition, and I went to the Britney Spears audition. I remember walking to the door. I saw all these girls with like 6-inch heels, and I was like, oh my God, like I can't do that. I could barely walk in heels. Like, I was literally, because I had a job at the gym, so I was literally practicing in the gym, like in my heels, trying to double turn, and I was falling out of it. It was so bad. So my first like major audition was a Britney Spears audition, and I literally went and I saw all the girls, and I was so intimidated. I stood by the door and I was like, I got these little kitten heels on. I can't even stand in these heels. You know what I'm saying? Let alone try to dance. You know, at that time I literally just started college too. And so I was in college, I had a job, and I'm sorry y'all, my cat is over here licking me because I have coconut oil on, and she likes to lick, 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 lick. Because so I try to put coconut oil on her skin. Trixie cat. No. Girl, go over there. So I literally yeah, I was in college, and I literally was trying to be a professional dancer while I was in college. You know what I mean? And so um, when I had that manager and he told me that he couldn't be my manager because I wouldn't sleep with him, I was literally kind of discouraged because I hadn't got booked by any agent or anything like that. And as a dancer in Hollywood, I forgot to mention that I started in Los Angeles. I'm from Los Angeles. I started my career in Hollywood. And so when I wouldn't sleep with him or let him take a booty picture of me, he dropped me. And so I was like, I didn't know what else to do. I don't have anybody else that's, I don't have an agent, blah, blah, blah. So like a couple months later, I get a call from an agency and that I had auditioned for, and they were like, we want to sign you. And so, yeah, they were sending me on all these auditions at the same time I was in school. And I told you guys I went to that Britney Spears audition, and I like literally freaked out and left because I was like, I got these little heels on, and I don't even know what to do. I can't even dance like that. Like, I could dance, but I couldn't double turn and bop ma and airbest, all that in some 6-inch heels. I couldn't do that. I wasn't prepared for that. You know what I mean? So I ended up like, I linked up with somebody, who's still one of my good friends today, and he taught me how to dance in heels. His name is Trevor. Shout out to my boy Trevor. He taught me how to dance in heels because I really could not dance in heels, and he was dancing in like some 6-inch stilettos. Okay, and so I was doing like all the dance stuff, going to class, and all of those things, and I ended up booking like some background music videos, things like that. Then after that, because I was in college, then it was time for me to transfer to, because I was going to a JC first. Then it was time for me to transfer to a university. So I had an opportunity to go on tour with this one artist, and my friend wasn't really a dancer like that, but she danced, and so we had both auditioned, and it just was a horrible audition. And but the girl, the choreographer, I told her that, you know, I have an opportunity to go to a university, but it's gonna take me out of LA. And she was like, I don't care what you do, but get your college degree. This dance industry is always going to be here, but get your college degree. So I was like, okay, like I'm gonna get my college degree. And so you guys can put your message in the chat if you guys have any questions for me. Put your comments in the chat because we're live right now, and I'm going live more on my YouTube because I'll be going live on like TikTok and stuff, and I'll be going live like on Instagram and things like that. But I'm going live now, you know, on all my channels because I want to connect to all of my audience, like straight across the board. I want to connect with all of my audiences. So what really inspired me to get on live is I was like literally going through my analytics and I saw all these comments that I hadn't seen or replied to over the course of 10 years. And like, oh my God, it was so many positive comments. I was like, why didn't I ever see this? I never saw this. And so I was like, you know, I haven't been as active on my YouTube page like I used to be because, you know, I have some videos that got over a million views. I got over 2,000 subscribers. And I just, you know, I've posted videos, but they just haven't been hitting the numbers that they used to hit. And so I was like, you know, I need to come back on here more. I need to like be more active on YouTube because I'll be active on IG or on the Tickety Talk, you know what I'm saying? But I haven't been like active like I should be on YouTube, and I wanted to be active with y'all. So, anyways, I thought after I saw those comments, I was like, you know what? Let me let y'all know like how I started in this industry. What is on my shirt? I think that's some. I had some oil or something. Anyways, I was like, let me see how I'm going to start, you know, start these lives like this because I have my podcast and I've gone live for my red light special, so I have definitely gone live, but I would do it through another program and it would come on here. And so this like I want to be a little bit more personal with y'all, like I'm using my phone, you know, things like that. So anyways, going back to the industry and how I started, and you know, I was doing a couple modeling gigs, a couple little acting background things, and then I ended up transferring to a university, and I moved to San Francisco. And so I had already like started as a professional dancer, and so I was like, here I am in college with dancers who aren't professional; they're just, you know, college dancers want to be company dancers, and I had a little ego about it, but I definitely learned a lot, you know, going to college and all of those kind of things. And so um, while I was in college, I worked 3 jobs and then I got linked up with the 2020 Tone and I started dancing with them. Shout out to Dwayne Wiggins for putting me on. Shout out to Corey Action for putting me on with 2020 Tone. And shout out to Dwayne Wiggins for keeping me on and like, you know, putting me on game with a lot of things. He surely did put me on game with a lot. So, anyways, I worked with Tony Tone for a couple of years. I went to Indonesia with them. I traveled with them. We did some tour shows. We performed in Texas, the Bay, the LA. And like I said, we went to Indonesia. And that was like really, really cool that I did that with them. And so while I was in college, like I was dancing, I was teaching, and I would go back to LA and do like carnival choreographers ball. That's like a big thing for dancers in LA. Choreographers ball. That's like the place for professional dancers go to showcase their work, and the agencies will go to the events, and like sometimes artists will come through. You know, Janet Jackson has showed up, J Lo has showed up, you know, different people have showed up to Carnival. And so Carnival was always like that space. And it still is. Shout out to Carrie and Paulette. It still is a staple in the community in Los Angeles. But they also have it in New York and they also go overseas. So that's pretty dope for them. But yeah, so when I was in college, I literally would go back and forth to LA. Um, and I ended up getting dropped from my agency because I wasn't making the auditions. And so I was just like, okay, so I felt like so behind. I was like, oh my God, like I had already started my career. Then I left to San Francisco to go to college, and I was there for 2.5 years. But while I was out there, I was performing. I did Black Choreography Festival. I did all these cool things that I really like enjoyed, and I also was dancing. I was teaching at New Style Motherlode and dancing with them, and that was pretty cool. And so after I graduated from college, I moved back to LA, and I was like, okay, I'm back in LA. I'm about to go hard. And so I was in LA for a couple years. I booked some major music videos. I booked the American Music Awards. I booked a commercial. I worked with Disney. I did all these cool things like after I graduated from college, and I was on the road. But I felt like something was missing because not only even during that time, black girls, there was always a lot of colorism, which there still is. But when I was coming up, there was just a lot of colorism and racism that was going on in the industry. And they used to always separate us, like light skinned girls and dark skinned girls. They used to separate us and do all that crazy stuff. And I've always been very Afrocentric. I've always been Afrocentric. I've always been into Caribbean culture, African culture, hip hop culture. I was always into that. And I just felt like I wasn't being seen. I felt like people wanted to put me in a certain box, and I was like, no, I could do all these different styles. Like I'm capable to do this and I'm capable to do that. And it was like I had to stay in like this video vixen box. And I was just kind of like, all right, so I was working, I was getting jobs, I was teaching a dance hall class, I was teaching an Afro modern class at IDA that was really popular. My dance hall class was really popular. So people were starting to know who I was, but I still felt like an emptiness. So my ballet teacher at the time, told me I needed to go to New York. She was like, you need to look into Alvin Ailey. And I knew who Alvin Ailey was, but I was like, let me look into it some more. And so I started searching Alvin Ailey, looking at their videos and stuff, and I was like really inspired because I felt like I'm a technical dancer, but I wasn't as what's up, D Reynolds? I'm not in New York right now. I'm in LA. So when I go back to New York to visit, I will be teaching. But right now, I'm not teaching in New York. Um, I was teaching in LA for a little minute, but the studio had closed down. So now I just do privates. But I had also had surgery. So hey. So I also had surgery. So I had to like stop dancing for a minute. That's why you guys haven't really been seeing me dancing a lot because I had to heal from that surgery. And it was something that I needed to do that I didn't know that I needed to do, but I found out that I needed to do, and it really, affected my career. It actually put me on my ass, but to be honest, I needed that because I have been going in my career for 20 years, no stop. I've been very ambitious, very determined, very strategic about my career, but I wasn't really taking care of my body the best way that I could because like everything was about dance. So my ballet teacher told me, you need to go to New York. And so I went to New York for like a week and I trained at Alvin Ailey in their program. And I was so in love with the culture. I went to a dance hall party and I love dance hall music. And so I was like, yo, this is where I need to be because LA ain't where it's at. New York is where it's at. Like with what I do, New York is where it's at. So I went back to LA. I booked this other Disney job and I was like, you know what, I gotta go back to New York because like New York is calling me. This LA life, this Hollywood life is like not calling me the way I wanted to call me, but this New York is calling me. So for a year, I literally planned to go to New York for 4 months to train at Alvin Ailey. So I raised this money. I talked to my family, and I was like, I'm going to New York. And so I went to New York with the idea of I gave up my apartment. I had somebody teaching my dance hall class in LA, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to. So my people, whoever's watching, make sure that you like. When you guys like my video, the algorithm picks up on me. So now that I'm going live more, I definitely want you guys to tune in. I don't necessarily have a schedule when my live is going to be, but right now I'm just seeing what times is best, for me to be going live. And so getting back to how I started in my career. So, I went to New York. I saved to go to New York, and I was like, I'm going to go to New York for 4 months. So I ended up moving to New York. Well, going to New York with the idea of being there for 4 months. I got I got a work study job at Alvin Ailey, and I started training at the school. So I was doing that, like training at the school and all that, for about a year. I actually had auditioned to be in their program and I didn't get in. And so I did it the work study way. So I became a work study, and I had already had like a business, mindset. And so they really liked me. So they ended up hiring me as a manager. So I was working as a as a desk manager at Alvin Ailey, and I was training at Alvin Ailey, and that was like all Alvin Ailey. Like I was all about Alvin Ailey. I didn't even really like get um, into anything else because I was all about Alvin Ailey. And so after a year, I realized that I needed to do something else and not be so caught up in there. And so started venturing out. I met some people in the dance hall community and I started kicking it with them. And then I got booked in this production. I worked on this production for a couple years, which was pretty dope. Um, uh, that was pretty nice. And I'll, go more into that. And I met a lot of cool people doing that. And so I ended up literally being in New York for 9 years, like 9.5 years. And then the pandemic hit. And when the pandemic hit, it was like, well, I'm going to say before the pandemic hit, like while I was in New York, I ended up forming my LLC. I had all these trademarks. I put together an event called Red Light Special Night of Urban Burlesque. I put on an event called Dance Hall Battle NYC. I did all these community engagements. I had my own company. I hired dancers nationally and internationally. Yeah, I did a lot while I was in New York. Like I was teaching classes, I was doing shows, and I really felt like I was living the dream because I really went out there to do what I wanted to do, which was, expand my art and show my work. And so when the pandemic hit, I had to make a decision. I was like, all my family's in LA. I'm doing all this legacy stuff in New York, and I really want my family to be involved. So I was like, you know what? I don't know what's going on with this pandemic. So I'm going to move back to LA. So I've been back in LA for 3 years. I still kept my home in New York. So technically, then I went back to New York. So I was bi-coastal. So I literally lived in New York for a total of 11 years total. And so I just say all of that to say in a nutshell, because I'll come back on here and give you guys more information about like how my career started. But that's just all of it in a nutshell of how I went from, you know, I started as a professional under 18, and I ended up getting an agent. And along the lines, I've done music videos, I've done commercial, I was in the film. I worked with celebrities. I was able to start my own company. I was able to start my own brands. I was able to connect with so many different people. And now this is like the first time in my life where I'm like really sitting down and like reflecting on all the things. Oh, excuse the noise in the background. Like, why they want to come over here and mess with me while I'm on live with y'all? Okay. So, anyways, um, just want to give you guys a little recap, because when you come on my page, you're going to see like all the art and all the dance and all that, because I love to do that. Um, but I've worked with artists like Pharrell. I worked with Shakira. I've worked with Busta Rhymes. I worked with Lil Wayne. I was in the movie Fame. I've been on Disney a few times. I've been on the Stephen Colbert show. I've done that commercially. My burlesque show, Red Light Special no, A Night of Urban Burlesque, has been sold out multiple times. Our home spot is House of Yes in LA. And now, I mean, in New York, and now that I'm in LA, I will be doing that again. But I just have been really like taking care of the business aspects underneath, you know what I'm saying? Um, so since I've been in LA for 3 years, this journey of me being back home has really been a very personal experience. My whole idea was like, okay, I'm moving back home and I'm gonna show these mofos who I am. I'm back, in LA, but it didn't work out that way. It was like, no, girl, you need to regroup. You need to like look at all the things you've experienced in this whole 20-year career, and you need to like sit down and be like, okay, how are we going to move forward? Because now that I'm older, now that I'm more mature, I'm not doing things like on impulse anymore. Like when I was younger, really want my career to come through, everything was on impulse. Everything was on impulse. I wanted this so bad, I wanted that so bad, I want this so bad, I want that so bad. And so now it's kind of like I don't need to like want something so bad. Like I am what it is that, I know what I am, and I know what I can contribute, and I know my value. And so since I know who I am and I know my value, I'm being a lot more specific on how I move forward in my career. So when I first started in my career, being a young girl, being a good looking girl, nice body, I definitely had different predators try to, um, take advantage of me, but I always stood strong. I've always stood my ground. I always stood on business. And as a black woman, standing on her business and knowing her worth, that's always has been like, a challenge coming up in the game. And one thing I will say is I'm grateful that I've had my mom and my dad that have been very supportive of me in this industry. In my journey, they have been very supportive. But even at one point, like they had to see my career thrive before they really was on board. Like they were supportive, but they were just always like, dance is hard, so you need to make sure that you have a backup plan. So when I went to college, I got my degree in speech communications and dance. And so now I have really just been doing like the media portion of things, interviewing artists that are in the industry, really utilizing my speech communications because that's what I like to do. I like to communicate. And so I just decided that I wanted to connect more with people who come to my page and more people who support my followers that really support me. Like I really thank you guys for being supportive of my journey because I'm telling you, I was literally on my YouTube page, like looking through the analytics. I saw all these comments that I've never seen before over the course of 10 years. And I was just like, oh my God, like I wish I saw this in real time. But, I didn't YouTube is like is a beast. I didn't understand the analytics then. I didn't understand all of those things, and it was always like, okay, everybody's on Instagram, so let me be on Instagram and try to get my Instagram here. Then it was like TikTok. Okay, let me come on TikTok. But my YouTube people have been like my supportive along before Instagram came along. Before TikTok came along. YouTube has been my first like platform where people have really supported my work. And so I was like, you know what, let me take the time to really like connect with my people and start going live more. Now, I have done my Red Light Special live on here, which is my talk show, which I will be bringing back. But this right here, me just going live like this is really just me being just being personal with you guys, really like just talking to you guys. And I will be bringing Red Light Special Live back, my podcast. I will be bringing that back. But right now, in the meantime, I'm like, you know what? Let me connect with my people. You probably haven't seen me doing videos about astrology and relationship stuff, and that is also something that I like to talk about. But I know that the main thing why y'all are here is because y'all love to see me perform. Y'all love to see me dance. And so now I just really want to talk to you guys so you guys understand like how this journey has been as a professional artist. Being a young girl who was under 18, starting in the world full of sharks and orangutans and gorillas and narcissistic people. But I have always stood my ground, and because I have always stood my ground, some of it, people have worked against me and try to teach me a lesson, but I'm still standing. You know what I mean? I still stand on my integrity. I still stand 10 toes down. I'm still, a very real and direct and assertive person. But I have learned over the years that like you have to really like value yourself and see your value and see your light, because people see your light. You know what I mean? They see your light. That's why certain people are attracted to you. But if you don't see your light, then certain things are going to take advantage of you. And as dancers in the industry, we don't all see our light because we don't always get that validation in the industry. Like in the industry, they always like tell us that we are the eye candy. They're always like having us do multiple takes and not even thinking about our bodies or thinking about anything. You know what I mean? They look at dancers as machines, but we're not treated like athletes. You know what I mean? We are just as good. We put in just as much effort. you know, we do so much more with our bodies, and we're just like thrown away very easily. Dancers just thrown away. They be like, oh, we can get the next dancer, we can get the next dancer. And then when I look at the TikTok videos now, like when they were doing all these dance TikTok videos, it was like people who were not dancers were doing all these dances and getting paid and getting sponsors and getting brand deals. And then you got dancers who are actually professional dancers who actually been putting the work being overlooked. And so I know a lot of dancers, you know, feel like some dancers feel like they got to step on other people's toes to get what they want and all of that kind of stuff. Like all of that stuff happens. But I say this to say that like what I've learned is that um, it's just really important to know who you are and to love who you are, and also believe in your vision. I've always believed in myself. I've always believed in my vision. I've always believed in myself. And I feel like because I have believed in myself so long, that's why I've been able to have such a long-standing career. Now, when I say professionally, like I was dancing before I had an agent. I say professionally because that's when I started having an agent. Now, I performed before that. Like, I was in the marching band. I was on the BSU dance team. I was the captain of the BSU dance team in my second high school that I attended. I traveled with the marching band that I was in. We went to Mexico. We went to different places. So I had a performing experience before I became professional. So I put professional on it because that's when I entered the TV and film industry, and that's when I had an agent and started going out for professional, you know, auditions and things like that. However, being a professional dancer is not easy. Is I always tell people if you want to be a professional dancer, you need to utilize all of your skills and not just your dance skills. You need to utilize your people skills, your communication skills, your business skills. It's always important to have all of those things as you are a professional. And so that's why I want anyone who's out here that's like, I'm a dancer, I want to be a dancer, I want to be this, I want to be that. Um, you know, when you have a dream, you can you go after your dream. Yes, you go after your dream, but you have to understand that your talent is not necessarily going to be what gets you there. Okay, it's your ambition, it's your drive, it's your understanding of everything. Okay, so that's my first take on this live on how I started in the industry as a dancer, as a professional dancer, as a choreographer. I'll be back on here doing more lives, but I just wanted to tap in with you guys, and thank you guys so much for tuning in. The people who watch this after, make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, and watch my other videos. Let's get these numbers up, y'all. Let's bring it back. But yeah, YouTube is my first platform that has supported me, so I want to come back and give y'all some love and be more attentive to y'all, because I know that you guys support me and my subscribers that's been around for 10, 11 years. I've had this account for more than 11 years, so I just want y'all to know, like, I I love y'all. I appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all soon. Ciao.